Having washed their hands of anyone who could be remotely construed or misconstrued as left-wing from their closest circle, right? They're moving on to the soft left at this point. Well made. John's in Chigwell. Morning, John.
Oli.
Hi.
Yeah, and he's just starting all over. So he's like a sheep in sheep's clothing, isn't he? He just follows. He's not a leader, is he? I did actually upgrade that to a sheep in Lord Ali's clothing.
You're on fire. You're on fire this morning, Lee.
Yeah, it's slightly different. But,
you got gags like John in Sheffield. Good stuff. 3. Should criminals be in government? John in Sheffield.
Hi there. So I actually live in Sheffield, which is near where Louise Haigh is MP, and I'm actually a huge fan of her and what she's done, and I think she's great.
Absolutely, yeah. She's Sheffield Heeley, I think, is her constituency.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm very left wing, and I'm actually a rail enthusiast. So
this is the perfect topic. Perfect topic. For you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think her resignation was political.
Okay, go on.
Well, I actually don't think that before she resigned, she was a very left wing MP.
I think she's probably on the soft left of the Labour Party, I would describe.
Can I disagree with that, please? Quickly?
Oh, yeah, of course you can. Go ahead, please.
The rail nationalisation policy isn't planning to bring anything under public ownership.
We'd push back on that, wouldn't we, John? The plan is that when the contracts are up for them to return to public ownership, the legislation was received royal assent this week, did it not?
Yeah, and the government will become operators of those trains, but they won't own the trains. The trains will still be owned by rolling stock companies who will rent them out to the government for hundreds of millions of pounds a year. And the rail network itself has been publicly owned since 2002, as well as freight still being kept under private ownership under Great British Railways.
So your point is, you can have the company under government control, but unless you have the means of production, what have you got?
Well, communism, the definition of communism says that a theory that advocates the abolition of private ownership, all property being invested in the community, and the organisation of labour for the common benefit of all members, a system of social organisation in which the theory is put into place. If the government don't own the infrastructure, then how is that left-wing? My argument.
Do you have that definition in your head, John? Did you read that out?
It's on the Oxford Dictionary. Sorry, I didn't cite my source there.
Yeah, please do. Let's keep it academic. I wasn't expecting communism to come up as much as it has this hour. This is the second call we've discussed communism.
Well, I mean, the last call was a John, and he was very left wing, but he wasn't a communist. I think I'm further down the John pipeline than the last John was.
I tell you what, we haven't spoken enough about the John to communism pipeline enough on this programme, have we? And I'm glad we're giving it air now.
A serious issue, definitely.
So would you describe yourself as a communist, John?
A little bit, yeah. But I'm a huge fan of Louise Haigh now, because she managed to extort a second free work phone from a multinational insurance company, which is very anti-capitalist.
Okay, so this is the point. This is the point, but I'm so glad you've made it. Do you view her crime, fraud, do you think it's serious?
I don't call it a crime, I call it a girl boss moment. And in fact, I think she deserves a promotion, in fact, to make her Chancellor. As I like to say, I think it's what the crime was. I think the crimes need to catch up with the times.
But just to be clear, though, John, you are advocating for someone with a fraud conviction to run the government's finances.
Depends who they're frauding. If they're frauding a member of the public, that's not very communist. But if they're frauding a company, top marks.
Top marks?
Yeah. Well, that was a good one. Yeah. And in fact, I would say, for instance, there are some great people who've committed crimes and are in government. For instance, I can't speak. Keir Starmer hit a cyclist with a car in 2020, right? Should I call him Comrade Starmer?
I probably wouldn't go as far to call him Comrade Starmer, no.
I would. He's one of the most communist members of cabinet. He's practically Stalinist.
Keir Starmer? Oh, Stalinist. Yeah. Well, this is where we start to get a flavour for it, I'm guessing.
Well, exactly. Who would jail a student for 6 months for stealing a case of water in the 2011 riots? Except the direction of the prosecutions themselves. Director of public prosecutions,
yeah. The prosecutions during those riots were quick, swift and punitive, weren't they? And I think you could see the logic that he operated during those riots as DPP in full force during the race riots this summer, right? It was swift justice in order to try and dissuade anyone from the disorder to catch and spread further than it did.
Absolutely. And in fact, another person who went on to become a great person who has committed crimes is, for instance, Robert Downey Jr. He did drugs, then became a huge girl boss. He absolutely slayed in Oppenheimer. That was an amazing film.
That was a good film.
We wouldn't have had him if he hadn't done the drugs.
That was a good film. Yeah, I think there's something to be said that you need a little bit of crazy, right? You need a little bit of edge. You need a little bit of, to have the genius. That it has to come with some rogue behaviour as well. The two. I think there's a spectrum, right? And the two things connect. Do they not?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Oppenheimer is Downey Jr.'s best film?
I would go as far as to say I don't really watch a lot of films, but that was good.
It was good, that one, yeah. Certainly better than Iron Man. Yeah. Better than Iron Man, for sure.
I think so, possibly.
The line is a little bit crackly, John. So I'm gonna ask you one more question, and we'll leave it there. Any handmade chips this weekend?
Well, I've actually, like I said before, I've moved back to Frozen because basically, okay,
you've gone full send on Frozen now.
Exactly. The reason why I didn't eat it before, and the reason why I was making them from scratch, is because back home where I live in the sunny west, which is where I lived before university, we don't have to come until a lot later. So frozen food doesn't become fresh until later on in the year when they can harvest the fresh food and everything. So like how, for instance, like strawberries in Britain, they only come into season in the spring. So I don't know this, but all frozen food only comes into season in the winter. So now it's available. I started stockpiling like a squirrel. For instance, like some people eat frozen food from all year round, and that's really bad for the environment. The food miles, because apparently they get it from Iceland, like to get all this frozen food from. It's pretty mental.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you what, there's a book you may be interested in, John. Nicola Twilley. I think it's Frostbite, but I may have over. The first half of the title is definitely Frost. I think it's Frostbite. Nicola Twilley, talking about the cold chain and how we store our food, and it's a fascinating insight into food production, food supply chains. It will bust the myth that frozen food is only harvested in the winter from Iceland. But then again, I sense you may not necessarily have been that serious. Lots of texts coming in. Is that John, the homemade chips guy? Yes, it is. Yes, it was. John, thank you for your call. Alex is in Leeds. Hi, Alex.
Good morning, Ollie. We speak again.
We do. We do.
Those last two phone calls are taking me back to my political theory lectures many moons ago.
Student politics. Student politics, is it, Alex?
I think somebody once said all property is theft, and I think all that's missing from the bingo card is anarcho-syndicalism, but I'll move on.